Hey, thanks so much for downloading the latest episode of The Ugly Truth. Today, I tell Paula all about my dreams, and then we talk about giving advice to the next generation. Do we agree on it? Probably not. This and our Ugly and Awkward Moments of the Week, Therapist Edition. Thank you so much, shoplipandclip.com. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
You're making me hate you.
Paula?
The man of her dreams is not going to work at Taco Bell.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the Ugly Truth.
Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 410. Hello, everybody. It is October. We are eking into the part of October where it's starting to get chilly. I'm so glad.
It's the kind of weather now where it's just like a 2-outfit day weather.
I know.
Where you start out in sweatshirts and then you end up in a tank top. Because
I freaking hate it.
Olivia asked me today, she's like, can I wear shorts to school? I'm like, it's freezing outside.
You're
and
like,
then I'm just looking at the weather. She's like, Mom, it's supposed to be 89. And I'm like, what? That can't be right.
You're like, just wear a sweatshirt.
Well, I said it's going to be 89. Well, yeah, so she had a sweatshirt on.
I remember those days where you wear shorts to school and you're freezing, and so you take off your sweatshirt and you cover your legs at recess. Don't you remember that?
She's still fighting me on the jeans.
Throw them away. Why are we even doing this?
Throw those ones away.
Okay, good.
And okay, so here's the thing. She recently grew a little bit taller.
Yes.
She must have, because now she's wearing the jeans that I actually bought her, and they're too short now. And I'm just like,
she waited just long enough, and now they fit just right.
Now she looks like she's got high waters on, and I'm just like, I don't want to buy you another pair of jeans.
Buy her some boots.
You know, it's actually funny. Victor got new jeans. He was like doing something with the waist, and she's like, well, do they have the tabs inside, Dad?
Oh, my God,
like the
that's
elastic
so funny.
Stretchy part.
Yes, that all kids have.
And he's like, no, mine don't have those.
You know what? Literally, best invention they ever did on kids' pants is adding that elastic adjustment in the waist with the button.
I know.
I freaking love it.
I always check if they don't have them, I don't get them. So.
You know, why don't they do that for us? I mean, I have days when I'm incredibly bloated and my jeans are cutting into my stomach.
Are you kidding me? In my Amazon cart right now, I have waist extenders, or, you know, the kind that, like, it's the extra little button that attaches to the button.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Well, I got these high-waisted jeans because I thought, ooh, high-waisted, that'll be better.
Yeah, so you'll look like the Penguin in Batman. Anyway.
If I have a long shirt on, no one will see it.
Okay.
But the problem is it's got to be high-waisted enough to go above the fat. If it goes right in the fat, then you can't button them.
Then you look like a giant number 8. You look like a snowman.
I look like mom jeans. And so I'm just like, well, I guess I need those little extenders because I can't keep zipping them like, 3/4 of the way up and then folding the flaps down.
Here's the thing I hate about high-waisted jeans. I think that in premise, in theory, they're great because they should, if you have a nice body, or even if you don't have a nice body, it's very complimentary, right? The problem that I have with it is when you zip up like that 12-inch zipper. I struggle. I really struggle with that. I'm like, I feel like this is like bell bottoms from the 70s. I'm like, zip. It's like ridiculous.
I felt like I was going to zip up one of my tits.
I saw a woman on a video on YouTube or something, and she had on a pair of jeans. And I mean, this zipper went from her snatch to her belly button. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
It was like a stomach episiotomy.
I hated it. I'm like, what are you? What is this? Dumb. Are you wearing a costume? You're going to unzip and something else is coming out? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, when I unzip, I know what comes out. My whole body.
A bubblegum bubble.
Oh, God. So Olivia was laughing. Well, she wasn't laughing, but she said she's very inquisitive lately. Yeah. And so she saw my new Spanx that I got for Vegas. Mm-hmm. At the time, I was extraordinarily bloated. And so... when you first put your legs in something, you can tell right away, like, this is going to be a problem.
Yes, you can tell before you even pull it over your butt. You're like, I
was just like, wow, my legs are pretty close together.
I thought this was a large.
So I put them on and I'm like, well, I said, this is going to be a challenge. And so
whenever you do things like Spanx or super tight leggings or something, you really need to have a pair of scissors so you can save yourself if you start getting in trouble.
Yeah, really, huh? Well, I had Olivia. I don't know what she was going to do other than yell for help. But so she saw me, and I don't know. Somehow I felt like a worm drying in the sun because I was just like wrangling all over, trying to like shimmy this thing on. Eventually, I got it up, but there was a small pocket that just like stomach was protruding out, just like a little 2-inch pocket. So I was trying to tuck it in and like pull it up as much as I could. And eventually, I got it on. And then came the part where the hook and I you had to clasp it together.
Yes.
So I pulled it together and there was like a 2-inch gap and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to have to suck in as
Here we go.
hard as I've ever sucked it in my life.
It's like being it's like being like a weightlifter. Okay. Here we go.
So after I was done, I was like walking around with my arms flared out and I felt like I was like in the gym.
Were your eyes bulging?
With the guy, he's got these giant arms like flapping around. And so, I mean, I looked thin.
Well,
but,
that's good.
I pretty much dropped 2 dress sizes.
That's always nice.
Olivia's like, wow, Mom. She's like, she was so surprised. So the other day I was wearing these new pair of jeans. I got the high waist ones. And she's like, Mom, she's like, are you wearing your thing? I'm like, no, why? She's like, your stomach looks really small. And I'm like, thank you.
That's so nice.
I'm like, it's my high waist. And then I pulled up my shirt and then you can see my little stomach.
And she's all,
protruding through. And she's like, oh. And then she kind of rubbed it.
That's funny. Okay, I want to tell you I had a really weird dream this morning right before I woke up, but you and I before the show were talking about the new, and everyone's talking about them. It's not brand new, like no one's ever heard of it, but Glenlivet, the drink of Anchorman, has created these new Tide Pod shaped whiskey things. Someone says they're kind of like a whiskey Jello shot. Some people are saying it looks like the Tide Pod. I think it looks like the Tide Pod.
It kind of reminded me of those like bath oils that you used to get.
Yes, and you put them in, and then and the gelatin melts in the tub.
And you always try to pick it up and play with it.
Yeah, the little skin never really melts. And so when I saw these Glenlivet pods, I thought, well, first of all, that gelatin is not going anywhere. That's going to be lining people's bodies for starters.
It's going to like stick to your teeth or something.
Second, I mean, I love a good glass of whiskey over ice with a little orange zest or something, but I can't fathom wanting to put a pod in my mouth and like either swallow it or let it melt in my mouth. That's disgusting. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, these are for people who shove tampons up their ass to get high or to get drunk real fast.
Oh, you think it's like an oral fixation thing?
I think that you could shove one of these up your asshole and be drunk in minutes. And I think that is what it is.
Would that burn, though?
People do it all the time.
What if it was like an enema and then you pooped it out?
If you put it up your butt, you don't gain weight from the sugar, but you get drunk.
What?
Yeah.
It's a pod.
Well,
first of all, I couldn't have it because it's made out of wheat, but... If they had vodka pods, that'd be different.
Is there wheat in it? It's like...
Does it have wheat in it? I don't think so. Dim sum. Actually, dim sum does have wheat in it because of the...
She was trying to kill him! Walter! I just look at these and go, oh, these are for butt people. This is for people who don't want the sugar in their bodies, but they want to get drunk, so they shove these in their booty and have a party.
Well, that's not what the commercial showed, Jamie.
Okay, first of all, I thought the commercial was an SNL skit. I told you.
I kind of looked
and I'm like, what is...
They served them a little plate of pods, and they're like, what is
It's almost like...
They put it in their mouth, they're like...
It's like, do you just put anything in your mouth when someone gives it to you? Like, do you just go, oh, what is this? Thank you, stranger. Oh, look at me, I'm dying. No.
If it's recognizable, I usually do.
I mean, is it safe to order these pods at a bar so they can't be drugged? Is that their method? Well, I mean,
do they have to be chilled?
Yeah. Are they cold? Do you just, I mean, is it like taking medicine?
Are they like right there in the condiment containers? Like, do
they come
here's a plate of cherries. Oops, sorry, we ordered the pods.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand the premise behind or why they thought this was a good idea personally. And, I've heard the haters going, well, if you don't like it, just scroll past it. Just don't buy them. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm allowed to criticize anything I want in this life.
We're allowed to try and figure it out.
Yeah, Jeez. And that's the thing. We're kind of, verbally poking it with a stick. Please explain to us why this is better than sitting and sipping a nice, smooth whiskey in a nice glass. Like, what is the diff?
A nice Chianti with fava beans.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's stupid, and they should be shamed out of the market. dumb. All right. So I have to tell you about this dream I had last night. It's very bizarre.
Okay.
Very vivid and bizarre. You will hate it, but I have to tell it to you anyway.
I was going to say, is it a sex dream?
No,
Sorry. It's been a long time.
I'm getting laid regularly, so I don't dream about sex. Daryl probably does. He gave me, he put his hand on my lower back this morning. I'm like, I have a migraine, and like a legit migraine. Get off of me.
The only person that puts their hand on my lower back is Pablo.
So speaking of animals, this morning I had a dream. It was really super weird. Daryl and I were at like a party or something, and it was like a family party. Everybody was there, and there was a pool in the backyard. It was like a smaller backyard where, those houses where the pool is like all the backyard, and there's just like a little strip of concrete and then the pool. That's what kind of...
Yeah, like my old house.
No, yours was even bigger, but in the stream, it was like all concrete with a pool. Anyway... So there was a bunch of kids swimming, and, I was out there, just hanging out. I looked in the pool, and there was a snake in the pool, and it was alive. It was like a rattlesnake, a big one, and it was starting to coil. And I was like, oh my God. And, whenever I see a spider or some kind of creature that needs to be removed from the home, I'm like, Daryl, I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, what is that? That's your spider scream or whatever. And I said, there is a snake in the pool, and there are kids in there. And it's coiling. So Daryl runs over there, and he is trying to figure out what to do. And I said, you need to back up because that thing is big and it looks like it's ready to strike. And it struck out of the water and bit Daryl in the arm. And I was like, oh my God, you got bit by a rattlesnake. And, Daryl, who just, in reality, if he got bitten by a snake like that, he would have fainted, like, immediately.
I was just saying, I'm surprised he didn't collapse.
Yeah, I mean, he would have immediately been like, help. And he would have just been like noodle legs.
I mean, it's not funny.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? If I had seen that thing in the pool, I would have passed out.
Right?
Unless my kids were in there, I would have probably just grabbed him by the arms and yanked him out.
And then when I turned, there was a snake head, like a dead snake head, on the next to me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? And
what on
right,
earth?
so there was snakes and water. And so literally it says, if you dream that a snake is in water, it implies that you're unknowingly letting your emotions influence aspects of your life. I'm like, that's interesting. And it says, to dream that a snake is beheaded indicates there's an issue that you're not confronting. You're refusing to face your fears. And so I'm like, all right. So I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, Daryl and I are good. So that's it. I'm happy. Our family, we're good. But I was telling Daryl last night, I think I'm PMSing a little bit because I've got the migraine. And I started crying at the sushi bar last night. I know. Well, I mean, if I'm hormonal. I mean, and so I'm sitting there and I'm crying.
Yeah, but you're in public, for God's sake.
There was nobody there, which is why we were like in a corner by ourselves.
What were you talking about?
I'm talking about my next phase of life, and I can't figure out what to do. And so, I definitely don't want to stop doing podcasting. I absolutely love it. But I told Daryl last night, I said, I feel like I'm obsessively thinking about it, and I can't stop thinking about it. And I'm mad. I get mad because I'm impatient. And he's like, well, what's the deal? And I go, well, I think I'm suffering from a version of empty nest syndrome. I realize that we have a full house, and I realize that the kids are in our lives every day, but my way of parenting is over because they're not little anymore. They're all adults. They're all adulting. And so even though we have they come in and out of our house every day, all day, but they don't need me the way they did. It's almost like the Goldbergs.
Right.
I swear to God, I'm Beverly Goldberg. So,
well, you don't necessarily have to be home 24/7.
No, I'm not waiting for school to get out or for the next activity to come where I have to take them somewhere, right? And so I'm like, so now I have all this, and now I need to think about what I want my next phase of life to be. Now, I'm not a person who can just retire from the day-to-day life of small children and just enjoy my life and just wake up every morning and go, what am I going to do today? Or be a gym rat or, something like that. I need purpose. I need something beyond just being a wife and a mother, which I was before. I just forgot. And I said, here's what's weird. Because Daryl's like, you can do anything you want. Take your time, decide. I go, here's what's really interesting. And Polly, you would agree with me. We never had that luxury as 18-year-olds or as kids. When we graduated from high school, we didn't have a family where it's like, well, now you get to decide what you want to do when you grow up. You get to go to college. Right. You get to do whatever you want. You get to decide. We were not given that luxury. I said, so I don't know what it feels like to have the opportunity to go to college or to find a internship or a career somewhere where I'm not sure where I can decide, oh, I definitely don't want to do that. And I actually have the privilege of deciding what I want to do. We never had that privilege. We never lived like that.
No, that's true.
When I was Malia's age, my own decisions and the way I was raised, we did not have the luxury of time or of to, you know, decide. Like when I've told our family, not you guys, but I've told family members, well, I'm just basically letting them decide what they want to do, if it's art or pastry or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they look at me like, why would you do that? That's such a waste of time. They need to start working. They need a skill. They need to, because that's how we were raised.
Exactly.
So then I started crying. I'm like, I'm angry because I can't think of what I want to do. And Daryl's like, I don't understand. And I'm like, I've never had this. I've never been able to just sit and decide. Most people don't, by the way. Most people don't get to go, what do I want to do with my life? I don't know.
Well,
you know,
most kids don't know.
That's what I mean.
That's why they take their general ed and talk to career counselors and all that stuff, which I'm sure you don't necessarily want to do.
Don't.
But, well, you're very creative. Why don't you start like a little Etsy store or something like that?
I don't want to be crafty. I don't know. But my point is that, see, what you're doing is what my brain is doing 24 hours a day. And so I started crying. And he's like, why are you crying? I'm like, because I don't know what I'm doing. And so thus the snake dreams, I believe, because I'm getting too emotional. I'm thinking way too hard about it. So I just need to chill a minute and just be for a minute and figure it out. Anyway, so as you said earlier, Olivia, now this is a phase of life that all girls go through. They become very aware of their surroundings. They're aware of their bodies because it's changing. They are aware of their social constructs at school. It's just it's like their eyes have been lifted and they're no longer babies where they only are believing what they're told. Now they're starting to put together their own thoughts. And they need information.
I think that's exactly what happened. Is just like somehow her mind has just changed and she no longer thinks like a child. And she's just starting to embrace this new like phase of her brain where it's like more grown up.
Right.
She has questions and not, like, how's my body changing, kind of questions. But like there's this boy at school that she likes. Okay. So she asked me the other day, she's like, how can you tell if a boy likes you? So I said, usually they, talk to you. And she's like, well, what if every time you look over at them, they're staring at you? I'm like, well, I said, they could be staring at you because you keep looking at them. True. Maybe if you just stop looking at them and then just occasionally glance over, like occasionally, like, maybe once or twice during the day, not all the time. Being
so distracted that you're no longer learning.
I said, but if you keep looking at them, they're going to keep looking at you.
Because they're going to be like, why are they staring at me?
Exactly. And so I said, but, if he talks to you or if he smacks you on the arm and she's like, he does that.
Yeah,
so
boys can get physical. And, now we're in this new day and age where they're like, raise your sons not to be physical. And it's like, it's kind of like puppies. Like they're not trying to hurt anybody. It's just how they respond to they get angry. They
like to touch girls, I mean, it's just.
Boys are physical. Like if you ever want to have a discussion with a boy, be doing an activity.
Why do you think mosh pits exist? That's just stupid. Guys like to walk around and smash each other in the shoulders for no reason while listening to music.
So what are her questions?
So she was asking me like that, and she's just like, well, what if he doesn't talk to you though? I said, it's important that you don't talk to him first though. And she's like, I go up and talk to him all the time. And I'm like, you shouldn't do that. I said,
why?
It's okay. Well, I said, you want the chase. And so I said,
but they're just
she says, but because she's wanting to know if he likes her. And I said, if he comes up and talks to you, then he probably likes you.
Yeah.
I said, and she's like, well, I go up and talk to him all the time. I'm like, well, it's fine if you guys talk. I said, it's great that you guys talk every day. I said, but maybe just wait and see if he comes to talk to you.
Right.
Shoot, what was the other question?
I don't know, but you made me send a picture of my wedding ring, and I thought you were going to judge it.
I forgot what show we were watching. It was some show, some movie or something like that. And she's just like, wow, her wedding ring's really small. And I said, well, that's because her husband doesn't love her that much.
That's me. No.
And she's just like, really? I said, if he did, he'd have a better job and he'd be able to buy her a bigger ring.
That's so bad.
She's just like, but they love each other. And I said, Olivia, love is easy, but providing for your family and having a good job and being able to buy your wife nice things and take care of your family, I said, that's real love. And I said, look at Uncle Daryl. So
God.
I said, have you seen Auntie Jamie's ring? And she's like, no. And I said, I'll have her send you a picture.
I see.
And so then she's like, wow.
I see.
So I said, she's like, well, what if I met a man and he got me a diamond ring and he didn't have much money? I said, well, I'd tell you that he probably didn't love you that much.
Paula, that's so superficial. My God. My first ring was not that great.
It was still at least 3/4 of a carat, Jamie. I remember.
Well, that is true, but
my whole point is that I said, you want someone who is going to be able to take care of you and your children and be able to grow in their career and continue to progress and to take care of you guys all throughout your life and not have to struggle and, not be able to, take you guys places and do things.
You realize what's going to happen now that you've said all this.
What?
She's never going to marry and have children, and she's going to be the CEO of the newest tech company, and she's going to be like, my mother said I had to be taken care of by a man. Well, fuck that. Look at me. I take care of the men. I take care of the man.
I know Olivia. Since she was 5 years old, she told her grandfather from Oklahoma she wanted a Bertram.
What's a Bertram?
There's this show called Jessie where she's like the country hick from Texas that is the nanny for this like rich famous family in New York.
Okay.
And Bertram is the butler.
Oh.
And so he's like, Bertram, what's that? I'm like, nothing.
So you're saying that she wants a staff.
She wants, yes, much like Mackenzie did that one time.
She can pay for her own staff, I bet.
No, I was just telling her in so many terms that yes, love is very important, but that's going to always be the easiest part. The hard part is all the other things. And I'm saying that the man of her dreams is not going to work at Taco Bell.
That is absolutely positively accurate. Well, I mean, he may when he's young, but I hear what you're saying. He may own all the Taco Bells at some point, and then it's fine.
Possibly, but that will be under his belt right around the time that they meet. So...
Well, you're just basically saying you don't want your daughter to struggle.
Of course not. Why would
financially.
You? Marriage is so hard. Why would you want to add that? And Ryan, of course, was absolutely disgusted with the things that I was saying.
I'm sure he was.
He's like, you just want her to marry some businessman that makes all this money and, can just take care of her and buy her all these expensive things. I'm like, oh, like Uncle Daryl? And then he just kind of looked at me and he's just like, yeah, I guess you're right, huh? And I'm like, oh, and he's such a bad guy, huh? And he's like, no, he's great. And so I'm just like, exactly. I said, I'm not asking for anything terrible. I said, I just want you guys to be good people and be successful and take care of your families and not have to struggle. I said, that's not wrong.
Yes. I mean, and it is a very simplified version of what you're saying, because obviously she's only 10. And as she gets older, you can, deepen that going, well, look, I mean, I hope you give me a little credit at some point that Daryl wasn't what he is today, but that's not shit you can say now. But at some point I would also tell her, and it's like, oh, and by the way, Olivia, you can do all that on your own and just have a man in your life. Like, you can reverse it, but just understand that, someone needs to be kicking ass. That's basically it.
But I know my daughter. She's not going to be the CEO of some tech company.
She wants a Bertram.
She does.
I get it. So well,
she'll probably wind up having 4 kids and being the soccer mom. And, I just know how she is.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
She will love that life. I can see it now.
All right. So really quick, before we get into our ugly and awkward moments of the week, I wanted to talk a little TV. Because there's the few things going on. You and I do not watch the same shows.
No.
Do you ever watch The Good Place with Kristen Bell? And it's on NBC. It's based in philosophy, and it's about they're dead, but they're in limbo. It's really good.
I'm not a big Kristen Bell fan. So.
This show is so impressive, and this is the final season, and man, they are hitting it out of the park. It is such a good show. It's all rooted in philosophy, which I love, but you don't have to watch it that deeply. It's just a good show. I really like it. And then Jeopardy, Alex Trebek is starting to say his goodbyes. He's saying that, obviously the cancer has returned with vigor.
Yes.
And so he's saying that his skills are starting to slip, which means he might need to say goodbye to hosting Jeopardy. And so you and I had talked about it earlier, where you think that you think they should just not have the show anymore.
I think they should cancel it.
I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to get they'll get a new host, but
No, I mean, they're going to get someone stupid. And the only reason why I say that is because no one can do it like Alex Trebek. I mean,
that's
he's been doing it for what, like 30, 40 years?
Yeah, but I mean, shows continue. I mean, Johnny Carson retired, and then, David Letterman and Jay Leno, and, now
has The Price is Right ever been the same since Drew Carey took over?
I honestly never watched it, so I don't know whether it was good or not anyway.
We watched it when we were homesick, and I'm just saying that ever since Drew Carey took over, it's just not the same.
Well, I don't think any new version is, but I mean, look at Family Feud. That's gone through several. Now they have a host that everyone really loves.
Yeah, but I mean, Family Feud never really had someone that like stuck, I guess.
Yeah, they did. The first guy. The very first dude.
Who was that?
With the pinky ring, and he kissed all the women.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I thought
he was the original.
On a couple different shows.
He was the OG.
Yeah, he was a creep.
It doesn't matter. He was the original. No one could even consider that he would. Oh, Richard Dawson. And there was, oh my God, there's been like 10.
Well, then there's the guy that committed suicide.
Ray Combs was next, then Louis Anderson, Richard Karn, John O'Hurley.
Anderson was on there for a while? Gross.
Yes, and Steve Harvey is the current. So
He's the best.
There's been 6. Well, a lot of people would say Richard Dawson was the best. So what I'm saying is, just because you think it should be canceled, I don't think it will. And you know what? Alex Trebek is probably helping them find someone.
I hope they pick Will Ferrell.
I know. I don't know why you think that would be funny.
Because he does the Celebrity Jeopardy on Saturday Night Live.
I know he does. I know. You're right. Maybe
they could just have him on there until they find someone.
There you go.
I think that'd be awesome.
You need to. Why don't you make a call? They'll listen to you.
I will. Oh, you know what they're probably going to do? This is going to be dumb. They're probably going to find a chick host.
Well, I mean, like who? Who could they get?
You know what they could do? Actually, I kind of liked that girl. The really mean English lady that was on that one show. Was it called The Ring or something like that? Or
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about? And they're just like, it was really fast paced, and she stood in the middle of like 10 people, and she would like fire questions at them, and they're like, "What is for?" And she's like, "No, a sheep." And then
yeah, I remember it, but I don't know. I know what you're saying. That might be nice to have somebody a little rude in English in there. That'd be interesting.
I kind of liked her.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, and then finally, Daryl and I watched The Voice. We DVR it because there's like a jillion commercial breaks.
See, we watched The Masked Singer.
No, I do not watch that.
We do.
It's garbage.
Olivia loves that show.
Well, it's because of all the colorful costumes.
Yes, because she's a baby. She likes the colors.
So Daryl and I got into an argument last night because I said, I'm so sick of this filler. He's like, why do you get so angry when you watch The Voice? I have nothing good to say about The Voice. I literally complain.
Do you watch it?
Well, that's what he asked me. He goes, why do we even watch this? You're always angry. And I said, because I hate the fact that they use so much filler time before we can even see the singer. Like, if you watch a 2-hour episode, you'll get maybe 5 auditions. It's ridiculous.
It's just all talk time, yeah.
It's so much crying. And if I have to see Gwen turn her chair because Blake did one more fucking time, I'm going to throw something at her. I'm like, you're making me hate you. And I love Gwen Stefani. And it's like, you're making me mad, and I can see why you're such a fucking clinger to all these boys that you fall in love with. It's like, Jesus, it's like, you're annoying.
Well, do you remember when No Doubt was super popular? She was like badass. What the fuck happened to her?
I don't know. And
She's
so mad.
Now. She's like a total girl.
I hate it so much. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But basically what I read was when Adam Levine quit, it was unexpected and they had no replacement. She literally saved their ass by coming in and being a judge this year. She was not meant to be a judge. She came in because they're like, we need someone.
She probably had nothing else going. Actually, she does. She has the Planet Hollywood residency.
She does. Although she's on a hiatus right now, which is why she was able to do the Voice.
She's going to be there when we're there this weekend.
No, I know. But all these shows that you're watching were filmed filmed already. They don't go live for a while.
Okay.
So now Nick Jonas is going to be the judge next year.
Good.
So he's a mentor this year, and then he will come in and he will be taking Gwen's seat, which I think is fabulous because you and I had talked not that long ago when he quit that we needed a new male pop voice.
Is he the one that sang the Jealous song?
Probably. I don't know. They're all the same to me. I think Nick Jonas, he has a good single career, I believe.
The older brother doesn't sing, which I just realized this year. How long have the Jonas Brothers been together?
Well, he's probably a harmony and then musician.
He only plays the guitar.
Yeah, there you go. That's not surprising. They can't all be graced with voices. I mean, somebody's
because the other two brothers sing really well, and then I'm just like, the older brother doesn't sing? What?
Paula, everyone has an Allison in their family.
I was just going to say that.
Peace, love.
Even the hog.
Even the hog. All right.
Point.
So I'm so relieved that Gwen is leaving so I can love her again because I'm just hating.
I don't think I ever can. Ever since they got together, she just turned weird. And
I don't like girlfriend Gwen at all.
They've been together a long time, and I think there's a reason he hasn't put a ring on it yet.
Right? And every time they show pictures of them, he's always schlepping one of her kids, and I'm just like, this is so awkward to me.
He's an alcoholic, so he's like half drunk. Oh, big time.
I didn't know he was an alcoholic.
Total alcoholic. That's why that's a big reason why him and Miranda Lambert started to go on the fritz, because she stopped drinking. She started to get pretty famous, so she stopped drinking.
And she got real healthy.
And she started to get really healthy, and so they weren't partying all the time, and that was something they had in common.
Of course.
And then she started to get super healthy, and he doesn't give a shit about his body or whatever. I mean, he probably does a little bit, but not. I don't see him hitting the gym or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And then they started going on separate tours, and I think they just already kind of started losing things in common because she started to get pretty famous. Then supposedly there was this alleged cheating thing, and then he divorced her. Right. And that was it. And so,
yeah, I don't know, but you're right. Maybe there is a reason why he won't marry her, because I know she'd do it. I mean,
I think she just puts up with it.
Yeah,
because she probably lives in a fantasy land. It's just like la la la, everything's great.
If I could escape. Yeah.
You made me love you. I didn't want to do it.
Wait, that's not a good.
That's not her song.
No, that's an old song.
I forgot what it was, but it was something about like you made me love you, and then she was at a bar called Blake's.
Woohoo! Weehoo! All right, let's do our Ugly and Awkward Moments of the Week, Therapy Edition.
Oh.
Last night when I was crying at the sushi bar, I told Dara that maybe I needed to go see therapy again because it's been a while since I've been to a therapist, and I'm a big fan of going when I really need it, and I'm like, maybe I need to talk to somebody so I can transition myself into this new life, because it feels like a new life to me, and I feel lost and I don't like it. I mean, thank God we have the podcast. I swear to God, it's so grounding. I mean, I don't know if you feel that way, but I know I feel that way. It's really grounding for me to have this to do.
Mm-hmm. I feel better when I write. And that's why I always thought writing a book would be like the ultimate therapy, because I would finally like vomit my entire body of like all these thoughts and feelings and everything. And just like basically to have like an exorcism of my life.
And I feel better when I talk. And which is why I like the podcast, because we don't work our shit out like verbally. But what I mean is I have so many things in my brain. And now that I'm accustomed to talking to you about it every week, I look forward to it personally. Yeah. But anyway, all right. So therapy edition. These two are really funny. The first one, and these are both kind of odory.
Odory?
Yes. I've never been awkward in a therapy session, so I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure I have. You could just ask my doctor.
No. This is different. It was summertime. My appointment was in the evening, and I had to get into a very hot vehicle to make the long trek to therapy. So I was fairly sweaty. I'm going to assume this is a man, by the way, because it was anonymous. I also sweat a ton when I'm extremely nervous. You sound like a fun first date. I got in my head that I must be super stinky, and even though I don't actually ever smell when I sweat, you're lying to yourself. So I'm feeling awful. I had my armpits hovering over the car air vents, praying the air conditioner would hopefully dry out the moisture, but it wasn't helping.
Oh, God, I'm getting sick, Jamie.
Eventually, it was getting too close to my appointment, and so I walked into the building. I went into the bathroom as per my routine, but saw that someone had left some Febreze by the sink. In my beautiful terror of coming across as a smelly, sweaty pig, I grabbed that Febreze. Yes, there, kids, I sprayed Febreze Pine Fresh all over myself. Then I had to walk into that small enclosed office and pretend I didn't smell like a strong car freshener, and it did not help my situation. Because it was a bathroom, industrial bathroom spray. Can you imagine?
That was a man, Jamie. Women wouldn't do that.
First of all, I don't know any woman who'd say she was like a sweaty pig. I mean,
well, okay. And second of all, women read the bottles of things. We just don't see Febreze and start spraying it. We'd read this and be like, okay, this is tree pine scent. I don't want to smell like a little tree hanging from a rearview mirror. And
not to mention, that stuff is so concentrated. If you put it on your clothing, it's worse. It's so bad.
If I was that concerned, I wouldn't even care. I'd take my shirt off and I'd like soap my pits with like a paper towel or something like that. Not that I would have ever been that sweaty in my life. I can't even, like, not even after like a rigorous romp I have ever been that sweaty.
No, well, we don't sweat.
Here's the thing, is we don't sweat. And I've had guys tell me before, oh, I'm going to make you, I'm like, I know that's what everyone says. And I even had one guy say, look, you're sweating. I'm like, no, that's you.
Yeah.
That's not me.
I glisten. Sorry. Okay, and here's the second one, and this one made me laugh a little bit because this could happen to anybody. My old therapist, when I was in high school, literally peed her pants during a session when she sneezed.
That's not funny.
Yes, it is. The session continued, and the smell was severe. I couldn't leave because I hadn't driven myself there.
Was she a new mother? Because that's not funny.
And she said nothing. You just like saw the wet spot emerge, and then she tried to sit with a pillow on her lap for the rest of the session. We never talked about it. And I'm like, well, no. I don't know. It doesn't say if she's new or old mother, but.
The only reason why I say that's not funny is because I thought I had my sneeze or laugh pee under control until the other night we were watching a comedy show and I had a partially full bladder. And so I knew I needed to get up and go, but it was just too funny. So I couldn't like tear myself away from the television. I did a laugh burst. Did you wet your pants? I did a small squirt, but it did penetrate the pants, and I peed a little bit on the couch.
Oh shit!
Yes, I know. So I got up and I was running. I'm like, oh my god, I peed on the couch. So
oh no!
I had to go change.
That's funny.
I know.
Well,
I'm gonna have to start wearing those, like, you know, where they have the women, you know, modeling the underwear that have like the flowers on them, but they still look like diapers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, they're meant for everyone. So.
I wonder if they make a sound when you walk, like shh, shh, shh.
I don't know. I mean, you could buy some and find out. They always have them at the thrift store because, you know, when people pass away, they donate that stuff to the thrift store, so you can just go buy.
We should make like a series of dares, like hang out one day and do a bunch of dares. And like, you know, one of the dares is one of us has to wear like adult diapers for the day.
I'm making you do that.
And then like we'll get like a crazy shade of lipstick and then the other person has to wear the lipstick all day.
I am curious about one thing, and I want to make you do it or I'll do it. I'm not sure. You know those underwear that are meant for wearing on the rag so you can basically free bleed, but it doesn't... But it doesn't like it. You literally, they're like underwear. It's like built in something, and you can literally free bleed for a whole day, and it doesn't like.
Well, isn't that
get
just
anywhere.
Like wearing a pad?
I don't know, but apparently it's nothing. It's like just underwear, and
just stand there and like, you know,
bleed into them,
fall out or something.
I guess I have no idea,
gross.
But first of all, I found it incredibly revolting.
I'm like, there at the table, and I'll be like, what happened? I think a clot just came out.
Oh my
God.
know
what I'm talking about. It happens.
Absolutely know what you're talking about, which is one of the reasons why I don't understand why anybody would do it. And here's the other thing. Is it pulling away? Is there wicking to pull away from your body so that you're not literally sitting in a puddle of blood?
I mean, the only time that really happens is when I'm having like a super bad period and I can actually feel my uterus contracting, you know?
Oh my God. It's awful.
You know what I really, really want to do is I was looking up the other day ropes courses. because I thought it would be fun for like the
What?
kids ropes courses, like
Like pulling yourself up on a rope?
no.
What
They
is
have
it?
like zip lining and then those courses where you like are trying to walk along like uneven
Yes.
logs up in the trees and things like that.
They have one in Roseville.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yes.
Well, they had a really
Yes.
pretty one up in like Sonoma or something like
There
that.
is one up there. Yes, there's a
And
very
so
pretty
I'm
one
like,
up
how
there.
fun would that be for like, I don't know if Allison would be willing to do it, but you, me, and Stephanie, and then we would like film each other doing it and then post it on YouTube.
Honestly, I've always wanted to go ziplining. I always thought it would be super fun.
I just think watching Stephanie zipline would probably be the damn funniest thing
highlight.
I've ever seen. Because she'd be like,
You're afraid of heights. How would you ever do it? You realize how far off the ground you are, right?
I've always wanted to zip line. It's not like we're in the freaking like Brazilian jungle, you know. Where
It's
they're,
not
like,
about
500 feet in the
location.
air and you're getting hit by a bat or something.
It's not location. It's you're high up off the ground.
Well, I watched someone do it on the news the other day, and it didn't look that bad.
All right. Well, I would love for you to invest that kind of money and then go,
Are you
I'm not
kidding
doing
me?
this.
I'm not going to make it. I'm going to die on Friday anyway. So
Oh, that's right.
we're gonna die in a plane crash. So
Right.
I've been looking at pictures or videos of plane crashes all week anyway. So
You're just mentally preparing for your death.
I always do. I always just absolve myself to death.
Can you just write up some kind of little will so I can have, visitation to
I'll
the
send
children?
You an email. Yeah, I'll send you an
Thanks.
email.
Jesus, I mean, really. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, so Daryl and I are going to go axe throwing next week.
Oh, Jamie, why?
Why are you going to go ziplining, Paula?
Okay,
why?
that's different than throwing a sharp object that's going to whisk past your ear.
I'm doing it. You have to make a reservation, and so
You have to make a reservation to die.
Yes.
Okay.
So do you when you get on a plane. You're reserving You're actually
That's
paying to die.
different.
So anyway, we're going to do that next week, and I will let you know how that goes.
And you're drinking beer.
No, they don't serve alcohol.
Oh, okay. I thought they did.
No, I think they want to eventually, but right now it's not. Now you can't. And it's all ages right now. So
They let children throw axes?
there's a competitive league of axe throwing, and there's a youth league, and it comes from Canada. It's actually very popular. So
Canadians came up with this?
I assume, loggers. They've probably been throwing axes for 200 years, for longer, I'm sure.
I'd watch Trudeau throw an axe with his shirt off.
I saw, in fact, this is what made me want to do
Although he'd
it.
probably do it with blackface on.
Brown. No, don't
Brown.
get mixed up.
Okay, excuse me.
No, I was watching, what's the movie, the Kevin Costner movie that everybody loves so bad? Why can't I
Dances with
think of it?
Wolves?
Dances with Wolves. We were watching Dances with Wolves.
I hate that movie.
I struggle with that movie because the first time I saw it, I had just found out I was pregnant with my son, and I was basically out of options, and so I took myself to a movie so I could cry. And Dances with Wolves was the longest movie out at the time, and so I was sitting in the movie theater. There was nobody there because it was like in one of those cheapy theaters.
Yeah.
And I sat in the back and wept through the entire thing because I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And so every time that movie comes on, I struggle. I'm like, oh, I can't. I mean, I know it's a really good, and Daryl, of course, loves it. And I'm like, I
struggle
really
with
love
that
it.
movie because if our stepfather wasn't making us watch it on television, then he was playing the soundtrack very loudly in his bedroom.
Na, na, na. Yeah.
Usually getting ready for church, and I'm just like, yes, this is motivating.
So I was watching it, and it was the scene where Stands with Fists is recounting when she was saved by the Indian tribe or the Native American tribe when the Pawnee came and killed all of her family. And when the dads were walking away from the Indians telling them to go, they were like, shoo. And they were like, fuck you, Whitey. And he threw that axe and got him right in the back. And I'm like, ooh, axe throwing. Hey, you want to go axe throwing?
That's what motivated you, is watching someone get killed by an axe?
He wasn't killed. He was just maimed. And so
They had to wait till they shot him with an arrow through the heart.
They shot him with arrow, then he scalped him, and
Yes.
that's how he died. It was not the axe. So I'm like, hey, let's go
the
axe
4 and
throwing.
5-year-old brother had to run for their lives.
Run! Yeah, and they did. So
Actually,
anyway,
I wonder if the brother even got away.
probably not. I think you're supposed to assume that she was the only one that escaped. But that movie is a struggle bus for me, but it did remind me that there's an axe throwing place like 5 minutes from my house, and I want to go and try it out. So I'm going to try it.
Well, good for you.
Yes.
Good
You at one
for
point
you.
you wanted to do it, but
I don't know that I ever did. I mean, maybe
You did. We talked about it.
I don't know.
It's
I
all right.
I like skee ball and miniature golf.
That's fine. You can change your mind now. It's fine.
I'll backpedal.
Yeah, you just say you didn't remember talking about it.
Knowing me, I'll probably throw it and it'll like hit the wall and fall. It won't even hit.
I don't know, but I am
Just like
cautiously
throwing knives or throwing stars, I can't even hit a dart.
I can't throw darts. I'm so bad at it. I have no upper body strength. That's why I know this might not go well, but
It's like a spaghetti noodle trying to throw something heavy.
I'm hopeful.
Doesn't
I'm
work.
going to try. I'm hoping that the axes are super sharp and that it doesn't take much effort for it to land.
Don't put your finger on the blade to see if it's sharp, Jamie. Just don't.
If I do, I'll show you the slice.
I know you will. I know your first thing is like, are these sharp?
Oh my God! They're like,
is that blood?
It's like, young lady, would you please go to first aid?
And there's going to be giant instructions on the table.
Do
One,
not touch
put your
the
finger on
blade. Probably. I'm sure. God. All right. Well, I have nothing more to talk about today. So,
anyways, well, thanks everybody for joining us. It is a good time to hit up Amazon. If you are not a Prime member, you definitely want to sign up to do that. First, you want to go to uglytruth.com, click on the Amazon button. And then once you're on there, on the right-hand side next to the cart, you should see a Prime button. It gets you free shipping, free 2-day shipping, sometimes free 1 day or free same day, depending on what you're buying. It's really good option. I mean, you definitely make your money back.
Oh, for sure.
I shop all the time. So you want to do that. And then also go to lipandclip.com. Pick up some makeup products, good deals right now. I checked out the outlet store and they have some good stuff that they're clearancing out. Other than that, have a fabulous rest of your week and we'll talk to you on Sunday.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.